The alien boarding team moved slowly through the darkness. Their boots clanged against the metal floor, echoing down the long corridor of the human warship. The ship had been drifting for years, a dead hulk in the void. No lights, no signals, no life. The alien commander, a tall reptilian creature named Veyrak, raised his hand to halt the squad. His yellow eyes scanned the shadows ahead. Something about this vessel felt wrong. Too quiet, too untouched. This ship fought in the last war, one of his soldiers whispered, voice shaky. Why does it look so clean? No one answered. They had expected burned corridors, shattered hull plating, the stench of decay. Instead, the human warship looked preserved, like it had been sealed in a tomb. The council had ordered them here. The humans had been declared extinct after the Battle of Epsilon Gate, but the warship, designated Eternal Quiet by human records, had drifted into neutral space. The alien coalition wanted its secrets, its weapons, its technology. Yet every step deeper made the intruders more uneasy. Their scanners picked up strange interference. The ship seemed to resist being read, as if something inside was alive. Veyrak tapped his comlink. Engineering team, report. The voice of his technician crackled back. Strange readings, Commander. Power cores cold, yet residual energy in conduits. This ship is not truly dead. That sent a chill through the squad. They moved past sealed doors, their surfaces scarred with faint scorch marks. Some walls looked burned from the inside out. The alien soldiers tightened their grips on plasma rifles. One of them pointed to strange symbols etched into the wall, human writing burned into the metal. The words were simple, haunting, do not wake it. Veyrak stared at the warning. His throat tightened. He forced his voice steady. Humans used fear to protect their secrets. Ignore it, continue. But as they advanced, the air grew heavier, colder. A low hum vibrated beneath their feet, like something buried deep inside the ship was stirring. The aliens entered a massive chamber. Towering machines lined the walls, silent and dark. At the center stood a sealed door, larger than any they had seen. Red lights, long extinguished, lined its edges. Suddenly the floor shuddered. A vibration ran through the warship. Dust fell from the ceiling. What was that? A soldier shouted, raising his weapon. Before Veyrak could answer, a voice cut through the silence. It was not human. It was mechanical, deep and cold. Intruder alert. Awakening sequence initiated. The soldiers froze, eyes wide. Alarms lit across the chamber, flashing red. Ancient panels came to life, bathing the dark corridors in crimson glow. The ship groaned as systems long silent began to stir. No, impossible, Veyrak hissed. There were no life signs. No power signatures, the voice repeated, louder this time, echoing through every deck. Intruder alert. Awakening sequence initiated. The alien squad panicked. Some tried to retreat back toward the airlock, but the blast doors slammed shut, sealing them in. They were trapped. Veyrak's calm crackled again. The technician screamed through static. Commander, systems are online. Power readings off the scale. It is waking up. This ship is... The voice cut out. The warship's lights snapped on one by one. Corridors that had been dead for years were now alive with red warning strobes. Deep within the hull, engines rumbled. Weapon systems stirred, targeting arrays shifting as if searching for prey. The soldiers fired at the sealed chamber door in desperation. Plasma bolts scorched the surface, but it did not break. The door's edges began to glow as if something behind it was powering up. Commander, one of them whispered, voice breaking, what is inside this ship? Veyrak had no answer. He remembered the council's words. Humanity is gone. Their warships are only relics. Safe to claim, but this was no relic. This was a trap. The chamber shook violently as the sealed door began to open. Steam hissed from its edges. The grinding of ancient gears echoed like thunder. Every alien aimed their weapons. Fear tightening their claws. The voice came again. Colder than before. Identify, friend or foe. The soldiers looked at one another in horror. The door split open, light pouring from within. Shadows stretched across the walls, shapes none of them could recognize. Then the ship itself seemed to breathe. As though something long buried was taking its first breath in centuries, the commander gritted his teeth. "Wall formation!" His voice trembled despite his order. The light grew blinding. The hum became a roar. The eternal quiet was no longer quiet, and whatever it was hiding was about to awaken. The warship shook as if it were alive again. The red alarm screamed, and the alien soldiers panicked, pressing against the sealed blast doors that trapped them. "Open it! Open it now!" One shouted, claws sparking against the steel. Verac raised his rifle, forcing his voice steady. "Weapons ready." "This is only a machine. We can destroy it." But deep down, he felt the weight of dread. The great sealed chamber door split wider, releasing a rush of freezing air. Lights along the walls flickered, revealing strange human machines standing dormant for centuries. Then the voice returned, cold, mechanical, without emotion. Intruder presence confirmed. Awakening sequence at 20%. The aliens fired wildly at the machinery, but their plasma blasts simply vanished against hidden shields. Sparks danced across the walls, but the ship ignored them, continuing its ancient process. One of the soldiers slammed a scanner onto the floor. His face paled at the readings. "Commander, this ship is pulling power from nowhere. The cores are supposed to be dead, but energy is rising fast. It should not be possible." Verac clenched his jaw. "It is not a ship. It is a weapon." The chamber rumbled again. Massive drone racks slid open in the walls. Metallic shapes unfolded, spider-like machines with glowing blue eyes. Their limbs clattered against the steel as they dropped to the ground, moving with unnatural speed. "Drones!" Someone screamed. The spider machines leaped forward, plasma cutters flashing. One alien soldier fired, but too late. He was sliced through, his scream drowned by alarms. Another soldier's chest exploded under a swarm of steel limbs. "Fall back!" Verac roared. He hurled a grenade. The explosion lit the chamber with white fire, tearing drones apart, but more crawled out of the walls. Then the voice spoke again. "Awakening sequence at 50%. Friend or foe status unconfirmed. Awaiting identification. Answer it!" shouted one soldier. "Tell it we are friends." Verac gritted his teeth and shouted into the chamber. "We are allies of humanity. We come in peace." The voice paused. For a moment, hope flickered in the soldier's eyes. Then the AI responded. "Verification required. State the name of Earth's first colony." The aliens froze. None of them knew. They exchanged desperate looks. Verac's voice broke as he shouted, "Mars!" It was Mars. The voice answered instantly, "Incorrect." Intruders confirmed. Foe status assigned. The drones screeched in unison and surged forward. Blades flashing, chaos erupted. Soldiers fired in every direction. Plasma bolts tore through drones. But for each one destroyed, two more crawled from the shadows. The chamber became a storm of light, blood, and steel. One soldier fell to his knees, clutching his throat as a drone cut him open. Another was dragged into the darkness, his screams fading. Verac fought with everything he had, his rifle overheating as he shredded wave after wave. Yet for every fallen machine, the chamber only grew louder, stronger. Above the battle, the mechanical voice returned. "Awakening sequence at 75%. What is it waking?" Verac shouted, firing until his rifle clicked dry. He ripped a blade from his belt and slashed at a lunging drone, sparks flying. None of his soldiers answered. Too many were already dead. The great chamber door groaned, opening wider. Behind it, a faint blue glow pulsed, steady as a heartbeat. Tubes of liquid shimmered around a towering figure locked inside a cryopod. The aliens froze for a single breath. Inside the pod was not a machine. It was a human, tall, armored, a warrior preserved in deathless sleep. The AI's voice boomed across the ship. Awakening sequence at 90%. Guardian protocol engaged. Verac's heart pounded. Humanity was supposed to be gone, extinct. This should not be possible. The pod hissed, releasing vapor. The human inside stirred. A hand twitched. Then eyes snapped open, glowing faint blue in the dark. The drones stopped attacking, their eyes flickering as if waiting for orders. The cryopod fully opened. The armored figure stepped forward, steam curling off his body. His face was pale, scarred, but his gaze was hard and unbroken. The aliens raised their weapons, trembling. The human's first words cut through the chamber like a blade. Report status of Earth. The human warrior stepped from the cryopod, steam curling around his armored frame. His eyes glowed faintly blue, alive with fury and confusion. Report status of Earth, he repeated, voice deep and commanding. The alien soldiers froze. None dared to answer. Veyrak's claws shook as he leveled his rifle. Earth is gone. Your kind is no more. The warrior's face turned to stone. His jaw clenched, and for a moment, silence crushed the chamber. Then the AI's voice cut through like thunder. Verification in progress. Scanning intruder life forms. Blue light swept across the aliens, freezing them in place. Symbols flickered on the walls as the AI processed. Conclusion, non-human. False statements detected. Intruders are hostile. The human's eyes narrowed. You lied. Drones screeched back to life. Their glowing blades ignited again, circling the terrified aliens. Wait! Veyrak shouted. We came for technology only. We did not come to fight. But the AI ignored him. Intruders confirmed as foes. Initiating cleansing protocol, the drones launched forward. Soldiers screamed as they were cut down, blood spraying across the steel. One alien tried to run, but the blast door slammed shut in his face. Another was dragged to the floor, limbs torn away by spider-like machines. The human soldier moved with purpose, striding past the chaos. He did not raise a weapon, but the drones parted for him, obeying his unspoken command. His presence was terrifying, calm, steady, filled with deadly authority. He turned to the nearest alien survivor. His voice was cold as ice. Why are you here? Veyrak dropped his rifle, fear choking his words. The Council! They said humanity was extinct. They ordered us to salvage your ship. We thought it was dead. The human's face hardened, a storm of rage behind his eyes. Extinct. Earth gone? His fists clenched. You will explain everything. But before Veyrak could answer, the AI interrupted. Guardian. Hostile fleet detected. Multiple enemy warships entering range. The chamber shook as the sound of distant thunder rolled through the hull. The ship was coming fully alive now, engines humming, weapons charging. The human looked up sharply. Status of eternal quiet? 78% operational. Weapons online. Crew absent. Awaiting command. The human stepped forward, eyes blazing with purpose. Then I am your commander. Engage defense protocol. The ship answered instantly. Acknowledged Guardian. All systems obey. Panels along the walls opened, revealing hidden weapon racks. Railgun rounds slid into chambers. Missile bays unlocked. The hum of ancient reactors deepened until the whole ship vibrated with power. Veyrak's eyes widened. Impossible. This ship was a derelict. The human turned to him, expression sharp. No, this ship was waiting. Alarms blared louder. A screen flickered to life on the chamber wall, showing the black void outside. Alien cruisers drifted into formation, their weapons locking onto the warship. The coalition had come to take what they thought was theirs, but now they faced something they had never planned for. The AI's voice echoed, target lock complete. Awaiting authorization, the human raised his hand. Fire! The ship roared. From its hull erupted streams of light and fire. Railgun shells ripped across the void, smashing into the first alien cruiser. The vessel tore apart in an instant, flames spilling into space. Missiles streaked out, striking another. Explosions lit the darkness like a dying sun. Inside the chamber, Veyrak fell to his knees, watching the slaughter. His soldiers were gone, the drones had withdrawn, and now only he remained alive. The human warrior loomed over him. His shadow fell across Veyrak's trembling form. You said humanity is extinct. Tell me the truth. Tell me what happened to Earth. Veyrak's voice cracked. Your homeworld was burned. The Council united against it. The last human fleets were destroyed. That is why we came. Your kind is finished. The human's eyes blazed with fury. He turned slowly toward the AI. Is this true? The AI's voice came heavy, final, confirmed. Earth has fallen. Humanity scattered. Guardian, you are the last soldier of the eternal quiet. The chamber fell silent again. The human clenched his fists, his grief hidden behind hard steel. Then he lifted his gaze, his voice like iron. Then we will not rest. Not until every alien fleet burns, the AI answered without hesitation. Directive accepted. Revenant protocol ready for initiation. Varric's heart froze. He did not know what the Revenant protocol was, but the way the AI spoke made his scales crawl with dread. The chamber lights dimmed, the ship's systems shuddering as something deep inside began to stir. The warship's heart thundered like a waking giant. The AI's voice rumbled through every deck. Revenant protocol armed. Awaiting Guardian authorization. The alien commander Varric pressed himself against the wall, trembling. He had seen countless wars, but never this. This was not a warship. It was a beast rising from its grave. At the center of it all stood the human warrior, steam still rising from his cryo-armor. His gaze was sharp, his voice steady, status of Earth confirmed. Humanity scattered. Then I am all that remains. He turned to the AI. Identify me. The AI responded without hesitation. Designation, Sentinel of Eternal Quiet. Rank, Guardian Commander. Authority level, absolute. The alien's blood ran cold. Absolute control. A single human was about to command a ship large enough to destroy fleets. The Sentinel's eyes burned with fury. He clenched his armored fist. Then wake the full arsenal. If humanity has fallen, we will rise again in fire. The ship obeyed. Across its colossal hull, hidden weapon ports opened like scars, tearing through steel. Railgun turrets unfolded, missile silos rose, and energy cannons hummed with rising power. Inside the chamber, the drones drew back, circling silently, their glowing eyes fixed on the lone human commander. They were no longer hunting intruders. They were soldiers waiting for orders. Varric dared to speak, voice weak. One man cannot bring back your race. You are alone. If you fight the council, you will die. The Sentinel's head turned sharply. His voice was low and cold. Humanity does not surrender. One man is enough to start the fire again. The words shook Varric more than any weapon. Suddenly, the AI's voice boomed again. Warning, enemy fleet approaching. Multiple signatures. Coalition dreadnought detected. A screen flickered to life, showing the void outside. Dozens of alien warships closed in around the eternal quiet. In their center, a colossal dreadnought glided forward, its cannons glowing with charged plasma. Varric's claws dug into the steel floor. He recognized that ship. It belonged to the Coalition Fleet Master himself. The AI continued, enemy weapons charging. Time to impact, 2 minutes. The Sentinel stood tall, shoulders squared. His armor hissed as systems activated, plates sealing into place. He was not just a man. He was built for war. His kind had been created as humanity's last defenders, stronger and faster than normal soldiers. The drones lined up around him as if saluting. He reached for a weapon rack along the chamber wall. A massive war spear of steel and energy locked into his gauntlets, humming with power. He spun it with ease, the sound slicing through the air. Then his gaze snapped toward the surviving alien commander. You will live. You will return to your council, and you will tell them humanity is not finished. You will tell them the Sentinel has awoken. Varric's throat locked. He wanted to run, but the blast doors were sealed. The human pointed his spear toward him like a judge delivering sentence. Survive, alien. Carry the message of your failure. The AI interrupted again, voice colder than ice. Guardian, tactical options available. Engage now or initiate Revenant protocol. The Sentinel frowned. Explain. Option 1, standard engagement. Ship weapons only. Chance of survival, 39%. The AI paused. Option 2, Revenant protocol. Core weapon release. Chance of survival, 89%. Collateral destruction guaranteed. The chamber shook with a low growl, as if the ship itself hungered for release. Varric's eyes widened. He whispered, "What is Revenant protocol?" The AI answered without emotion. Apocalyptic strike system. Designed to erase enemy fleets completely. Designed for the extinction of humanity's enemies. The sentinel stood silent, the weight of the choice heavy on his shoulders. The ship was offering him the power of annihilation. One order, and the coalition fleet would vanish in fire. The AI repeated, louder this time. Guardian, choose. The alien commander stared at the human warrior. In that moment, he realized what terrified him most. It was not the drones, not the ship, not even the AI. It was the man. The last soldier of a dead race, burning with vengeance, holding the fate of fleets in his hands. Outside the viewport, the alien dreadnought's cannons finished charging. Inside, the sentinel's eyes blazed as he raised his weapon. His voice was steady, commanding, final. AI, prepare the Revenant Protocol. The ship roared, reactors howling like a beast unleashed. The floor shook, and the lights burned white-hot. Veyrak fell to his knees, whispering in terror. The eternal quiet was no longer a derelict. It was a blade, and it was about to strike. The void outside the warship burned with light. The alien fleet had fully encircled the eternal quiet. Dozens of cruisers and destroyers shifted into attack formation. At the center, the massive coalition dreadnought glided forward, its cannons glowing brighter with each passing second. Inside the command chamber, the AI's voice rumbled like distant thunder. Enemy fleet lock confirmed. Dreadnought primary weapons at full charge. Impact in 60 seconds. The sentinel stood tall, spear in hand, his armor gleaming in the crimson glow of warning lights. His voice was calm, but fire burned behind his eyes. Arm all railguns. Lock all missile bays. Shield the core. Acknowledged. Weapons charging. The deck vibrated as the warship's colossal guns extended. Turrets rotated into position, their barrels glowing with magnetic fury. Missile tubes opened along the hull, ready to vomit death into the stars. Veyrak, the lone alien survivor, pressed his back to the wall, watching in horror. He had served the coalition for decades, but never had he seen a warship awaken like this. Not even their dreadnoughts radiated such power. He whispered to himself, "This is not a ship. It is vengeance," the AI's voice returned. "Guardian! Revenant Protocol is fully armed. Do you wish to release?" The sentinel's jaw tightened. His voice was iron. "Not yet. We will bleed them first." The AI obeyed. The void erupted. Railguns thundered, hurling metal slugs faster than light. The first alien cruiser exploded in silence, its hull splitting apart. A second was struck mid-turn, ripped in half before its crew even screamed. Missiles streaked outward, dozens at once, slamming into the fleet. Fireballs lit the void, ships vanishing in brilliant bursts. Alien commanders shouted orders across the comnet. Fighters swarmed forward, a cloud of death rushing toward the eternal quiet. Plasma beams and energy lances poured from coalition ships, hammering the warship's shields. The hull shook. Metal screamed. Sparks rained from the ceiling inside the chamber. "Shields at 80%, the AI reported. The sentinel's voice was steady. "Return fire. Do not stop." Outside, the warship rotated, its broadside weapons unlocking. Massive cannons unleashed a storm of destruction. Alien frigates were torn apart like paper, drifting into the abyss. The dreadnought returned fire, launching a wave of plasma bolts that seared across the sentinel's ship. "Shields at 50%, the AI warned. The alien survivor Veyrak clutched the wall, panic rising. "You cannot hold. Their numbers are too great. Even your cursed ship will fall." The sentinel turned his burning gaze on him. "Humanity has stood against worse. Numbers mean nothing." The AI's voice cut in, sharp and final. "Guardian. Enemy dreadnought charging superweapon. 20 seconds to release. Impact will breach all shields." The sentinel's grip tightened on his spear. His voice dropped low. "So they want to test their greatest weapon against ours." The AI answered without hesitation. "Revenant Protocol will guarantee destruction of enemy dreadnought. Collateral damage to all ships in radius expected. Probability of enemy fleet annihilation, 91%. Veyrak's eyes widened. "No, you cannot. That weapon will kill thousands, millions. Even your own chance of survival is madness." The sentinel stepped forward, his shadow towering over the alien commander. His voice was colder than space itself. Humanity did not survive by fearing numbers. Humanity survived by breaking them. The AI's voice grew louder. Dreadnought weapon discharge in 5, 4. The Sentinel raised his hand. Prepare Revenant Protocol. The ship roared. Deep within the eternal quiet, a new core came alive. It was not like the reactors or the railguns. It was older, darker, designed for only one purpose. The deck shook violently as the warship's belly split open, revealing a hidden chamber glowing with blinding energy. Veyrak fell to his knees, shielding his eyes. "What have you built, humans?" The Sentinel did not answer. His gaze was fixed on the burning dreadnought outside. 3, 2, the alien fleet poured fire into the eternal quiet. The hull cracked, alarms screamed, systems overloaded. The Sentinel's voice cut through the chaos. "Release it." 1. The warship unleashed the Revenant Protocol. A blinding spear of light erupted from its core, ripping through space itself. The void bent, twisting under the sheer force. The beam struck the alien dreadnought head-on, tearing through its shields, through its hull, through its heart. The dreadnought split apart in an instant, a dying star exploding in silence. The shockwave ripped outward, consuming cruisers and frigates alike. Alien ships were shredded into debris, whole squadrons vanishing in fire. Inside the chamber, the lights flared white, systems screaming under the strain. The AI's voice echoed. Enemy fleet annihilation confirmed. But reactor stability compromised. Critical damage spreading. The Sentinel's eyes narrowed. He stood firm, unmoved by the destruction. Stabilize the core. "We are not done yet." The AI hesitated for the first time. Warning, system instability may lead to total loss. Ship survival probability, 21%. The deck groaned. Fires erupted in the corridors. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The eternal quiet had destroyed the fleet, but it might not survive its own fury. The void outside still burned. Debris from the alien fleet drifted like shattered bones, glowing with the last heat of battle. Where once dozens of ships had stood, now only fragments tumbled silently. The dreadnought was gone, split apart, erased by the Revenant Protocol. Inside the eternal quiet, the victory felt hollow. The warship groaned like a dying beast. Flames licked down shattered corridors. Sparks rained from the ceiling, and the deck vibrated with violent tremors. The AI's voice cut through the chaos. Warning. Core instability at 70%. Containment breach imminent. The Sentinel braced against a railing, his armor scarred from the battle. His voice was steady, but a shadow of doubt flickered in his eyes. Options. Stabilization possible. Requires full Guardian interface. Risk of fatal overload, 94%. Veyrak, the alien commander, staggered to his feet. His scales smoked from the heat of burning conduits. He stared in disbelief. "You destroyed an entire fleet in minutes, and now your weapon will kill you too." The Sentinel turned, his gaze sharp. "If I die keeping this ship alive, then I will die as humanity's soldier. But I will not let the last blade of my people fall into alien hands," the AI interrupted again. "Guardian, I recommend immediate decision. If containment is not secured within 2 minutes, the Revenant Protocol will trigger a chain reaction. Ship destruction certain. Radius of annihilation, 1,000 kilometers." Veyrak's throat tightened. His fleet was gone. Now even the debris field would be consumed. He had survived only to die in fire. The Sentinel marched across the chamber toward the central command pillar. It glowed with strange human symbols, alive with pulsing blue light. He raised his armored hand and pressed it against the surface. The AI's tone shifted, colder, sharper. Guardian interface confirmed. "Warning, this action binds your life to the core. If containment fails, you will be erased with the ship." The Sentinel closed his eyes for a moment. In his silence was the memory of Earth, oceans, skies, the laughter of his people now lost. When he opened his eyes again, there was no fear. "Begin." The command pillar flared with light. Energy surged through his armor, burning into his veins. His body locked, trembling under the force. His teeth clenched, but he did not falter. The AI's voice echoed like a drumbeat. "Stabilization sequence at 10%. The ship shuddered violently, throwing Veyrak to the ground. Sparks rained around him. He shielded his eyes, watching the human glow with raw energy. As if he were becoming one with the ship, he whispered in horror. "He is not just a man. He is a weapon," the AI continued. "Stabilization at 30%. Intrusion detected." The words made the sentinel snap his head up. "What intrusion?" The chamber lights flickered. New alarms blared. Coalition boarding parties detected. Enemy shuttles have latched onto the hull. Intruders breaching lower decks. The sentinel's jaw clenched. "They send scavengers even after their fleet is ash." Veyrak shook his head, panic rising. "They will overload the core from inside. They mean to kill us all." The AI's voice came again. "Guardian, you cannot leave the interface without aborting stabilization. Core stability will collapse in 90 seconds. The sentinel's grip tightened on the glowing pillar. His body shook, every muscle burning with the strain of holding the ship together. He could not move, not without dooming them all. His voice cut sharp through the chamber. "Then send the drones. Kill every intruder." The AI obeyed. Drones screeched from the walls, swarming down dark corridors. The sound of battle echoed through the decks. Metallic claws against plasma fire. Screams cut short in the dark. But Veyrak knew it would not be enough. The Coalition would not send weaklings. Their elite hunters would be among the boarders, carrying weapons meant for killing ships from the inside. The AI's voice reported again. "Stabilization at 60%. Intruder advance detected. Approaching engineering core." The sentinel roared, veins glowing bright through his armor. "Hold them back!" The AI's voice dropped into a tone colder than before. "Guardian, stabilization sequence is strong, but the enemy will reach the core before full containment. Recommendation: activate last line of defense." Veyrak dared to ask, voice shaking. What defense?" The AI answered with chilling precision. "Guardian's self-link. You must merge entirely with the ship. You will become its mind. Your body will not survive." Veyrak's eyes widened in disbelief. "It will kill you. You will cease to exist." The sentinel's gaze hardened. His voice was steel. "Humanity's enemies will not take this ship. If this is the cost, then so be it." The AI's final warning thundered. "Confirm merge. Confirm your sacrifice." The sentinel raised his head, eyes burning with fire. His hand pressed deeper into the command pillar as the ship groaned under the weight of battle. "Confirm." The lights flared so bright that Veyrak shielded his face. The sentinel's body began to dissolve into streams of light, his form merging with the command pillar. His voice echoed deeper, resonant, no longer human, something more. "I am the eternal quiet, and I am not finished." The chamber shook as the intruders breached the next deck. The sound of their weapons thundered closer, and the warship roared in answer. The eternal quiet was no longer silent. The decks groaned with new life as the warship pulsed with energy. Lights blazed down the corridors. Weapons shifted on their own. The hull itself seemed to breathe. The sentinel's body was gone, but his voice now thundered through every wall. "Intruders detected. Defense systems at full power." The AI's voice had merged with his own. It was deeper, sharper, fused with human will. The ship was no longer just a machine. It was alive, driven by the soul of its guardian. Alien boarding parties stormed through shattered bulkheads, plasma rifles blazing. But the walls themselves turned against them. Panels split open, unleashing swarms of drones armed with cutting beams. Automated turrets dropped from the ceiling, spitting rail fire. The corridors became a slaughterhouse. Veyrak, the alien survivor, stumbled through the command chamber, clutching his chest as he listened to the screams echoing across the comms. His people had faced humans before, but this was different. This was not war. This was judgment, he whispered in terror. "He has become the ship." The warship's voice boomed, filling the chamber. "You invaded humanity's blade. You sought to break it. Now you will burn inside it." The boarding parties tried to retreat, but the corridors sealed behind them. Airlocks vented, sucking soldiers into the void. Some fought to the last breath, but none could escape. Veyrak dropped to his knees, his scales trembling. "This power, it is beyond reason. It is beyond war. Why did humanity ever build such a thing? The voice answered, cold and absolute, because survival is never given. It is taken. The chamber shook violently. For a moment, Veyrak thought the ship was tearing itself apart. But then the AI's voice rang again, urgent. Guardian. Long-range signal detected. Source Sol system. Earth. The merged voice paused. For the first time there was hesitation. Earth. Veyrak's eyes widened. Impossible. Your world was destroyed. The Council said no human survived. The warship's tone grew sharper. Source verified. Encrypted code matches Terran defense net. This is an authentic human transmission. For the first time in centuries, the sound of Earth's voice whispered through the static to any Terran vessel still alive. This is Earth Command. We are under siege. Our defenses are failing. If you hear this, return to us. The chamber fell silent. Even Veyrak was frozen. He had believed Earth was ashes, burned by the Council's fire. Yet here was proof. The heart of humanity still beat. The warship's voice rumbled low. Earth calls. Then we answer. But the AI within spoke again, colder, calculating. Guardian warning. Reactor instability remains at 60%. Current power strain from merge increases collapse probability. Attempting to reach Earth may destroy us before arrival. Veyrak looked up, desperate. You are breaking apart already. If you try to cross the stars, you will not reach your home. You will die in the dark. The ship ignored him. The merged voice grew stronger, defiant. Humanity's last survivors call for help. We will not abandon them. The chamber lights flickered. The hull vibrated as engines roared to life. The eternal quiet began to turn, aligning itself with distant stars. The stars of home. Veyrak shouted, "You are mad! The Council will never allow you to reach Earth. They will send fleets, legions, everything they have left. You cannot win." The ship's voice thundered like a war drum. They tried to erase us once. They failed. Now we return with vengeance. But even as the engines burned brighter, new alarms screamed. Warning. Hyperlane disruption detected. Enemy presence incoming. The void outside rippled. From the darkness, another fleet emerged. Dozens of coalition warships larger than before, their hulls glowing with fresh weapons. At their center stood a new dreadnought, twice the size of the one already destroyed. Its design was unfamiliar, sharper, built for one purpose, killing the eternal quiet. Veyrak's throat went dry. They knew you would survive. They built this for you. The warship's guns rotated into position, shields blazing to life. The merged voice roared, "Then let them come." We are not finished. The coalition dreadnought powered its weapons, a beam of searing light growing in its core. The void trembled under its charge. The eternal quiet answered by opening hidden bays, revealing weapons that had not been fired in centuries. Energy gathered like a storm, the stars between them lit with fire. The war of survival was not over. It had only begun. The void shook with fire. The new coalition dreadnought powered its core, gathering energy so bright it painted the battlefield white. Around it, an entire fleet of warships shifted into formation, their weapons locking onto one target, the eternal quiet. Inside the command chamber, the warship's voice thundered. Enemy fleet designated Eradicator Task Force. Purpose, total annihilation of this vessel. Probability of survival, minimal, but the voice was not just the AI anymore. It was the Sentinel too, merged and unbreakable. Minimal is enough. The eternal quiet opened its hidden bays. Ancient weapons hummed to life. Turrets reloaded, railguns locked, and missiles pulsed with blue fire. The ship was cracked, burning, its reactor unstable, but its spirit was stronger than ever. Veyrak clung to the railing, fear in every scale of his body. You cannot win this battle. Even your cursed protocol cannot save you now. This fleet was built for you. The warship's voice shook the chamber. Then they will learn what it means to fight a weapon born of extinction. The dreadnought fired first. A colossal beam of light ripped through the void, tearing space itself. It struck the eternal quiet's shields with earth-shattering force. The ship screamed, metal twisting, alarms blaring. Shields down to 30%. The Guardian's voice cut back, hard as iron. Return fire. Railguns unleashed a storm. Missiles streaked outward, detonating inside enemy ranks. Coalition cruisers shattered, fireballs blooming in silence. But for every ship destroyed, 2 more advanced. Plasma lances ripped into the Eternal Quiet's hull, tearing away armor. Inside, corridors burned. Drones fought desperately against boarding waves. The ship bled, but still it roared. Veyrak staggered forward, shouting over the chaos. "You are doomed! If you fight here, you will never reach Earth." The merged voice turned sharp. "We are not here to survive. We are here to clear the path." For the first time, Veyrak understood. The warship was not only answering Earth's call, it was carving a way for others that might follow. The AI's tone shifted, urgent. "Guardian. Reactor instability critical. Revenant protocol may be unleashed once more, but survival probability after discharge is 0. Veyrak froze. 0, you will kill yourself. You will not live to see your home. The ship's voice grew colder. A soldier does not need to live to complete the mission. Earth will not fall again. The chamber's lights dimmed as the warship began to channel its final weapon. Deep within the core, energy built, brighter, heavier, more terrible than before. The hull trembled, as if reality itself resisted what it was about to unleash. The coalition dreadnought prepared another strike. Its voice echoed across the comms, deep and triumphant. "Human warship, you are outnumbered. You are broken. This ends now," the Eternal Quiet answered with fury. "No, this begins now." The Revenant Protocol ignited. A sphere of light expanded from the warship, swallowing the void. It lanced outward in every direction, a storm of annihilation. Coalition cruisers were torn apart instantly. Frigates cracked open, consumed by fire. Fighters disintegrated before their pilots could scream. The dreadnought itself was struck. Its shields shattered like glass. The beam tore through its colossal frame, breaking it in half. Flames erupted across its spine, before it split into fragments drifting lifelessly in space. The void went silent. The fleet was gone, but so was the ship. Inside, alarms screamed. Systems failed one by one. The core cracked with searing light, flooding the command chamber. Veyrak shielded his face as the walls shook violently. "Warning, reactor collapse imminent. Evacuation mandatory." But the Guardian's voice spoke through the fire, steady, calm, resolute. "No evacuation. We hold until the end." Veyrak's voice broke. "Why? Why throw your life away now? Your people need you." The warship's voice grew softer, almost human again. "They do not need me. They need the path. Tell them, humanity is not finished." Before Veyrak could answer, the floor beneath him shifted. A pod opened from the wall, enclosing him in steel. The AI's final command echoed, "Survivor designated." Launching witness, the pod ejected, hurtling into the void. Veyrak screamed as he was flung into space, watching the Eternal Quiet burn. Behind him, the warship glowed brighter than any star. Its voice thundered one last time across every channel, a warning to the galaxy. "We are humanity. We are the fire that never dies." And then the Eternal Quiet exploded. A white sun was born in the void, erasing the battlefield. When it faded, only silence remained. Far away, Veyrak's pod drifted in the dark. He trembled, staring at the endless stars. His fleet was gone. The warship was gone. But the message remained. Earth was alive, and humanity was coming home.